Hi everyone, my name's Mike. I'm going to talk to you about my favourite jazz track, which is Sing 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 by Benny Goodman and his orchestra, and I'm going to tell you why I think it is the most influential track in jazz history. So, Sing 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 was recorded and released by the Benny Goodman Orchestra in July 1937. At that time, swing tracks were they had sort of some sort of following, but not. They weren't mainstream. Mainstream music wasn't swing at all. So songs got released and they got a little bit of radio play, stuff like that. But it wasn't massive at all. Your average swing song would be 3 to 4 minutes long. Sing Sing Sing, on the other hand, it was twice as long. It was fully 8 minutes long. Well, on its own, Sing 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 probably wouldn't have been the massive track in the history of jazz that it is. It was made that way though because of the concert that Benny Goodman and his orchestra did in January 1938. It was set up as a publicity stunt by his publicist, and the venue for the concert was the Carnegie Hall in New York City. This was one of the biggest, most famous classical music venues in the world. Now, but at that time, jazz music was seen as a sort of an underground, sort of lower classes sort of genre of music. Classical music, though, was sort of proper. It was proper music. It was for the middle classes, the upper classes. People who knew about music were classical music. So the idea of taking jazz and playing it to classical music fans in a classical music venue was mad. It was kind of like, I don't know, going to the Royal Albert Hall and playing dubstep. So that sort of thing. It was that sort of crazy. So when it was suggested to him, Benny Goodman he was nervous, he didn't really want to do it. He was scared that his sort of jazz wouldn't go down well and he'd sort of be remembered as sort of a failure, basically, this guy who tried to make jazz big and failed. Eventually he was convinced to go along and do this concert, and he played a range of pieces. Some were his own, some were sort of arrangements of other popular tracks. He also tried a jam session where he had, I think there were 6 musicians, some from his band, some from another band, who just sort of, they played a bit, jammed some stuff. Apparently that didn't go very well, but the rest of the concert went quite well. And the final piece of the concert was Sing Sing Sing. They played it and it went down fantastically. They had audience were dancing, they were tapping their feet, which doesn't sound like a big thing, but for a classical music audience, I guess it is. The piece itself lasted over 10 minutes. There were solos by one of the piano players, it was a very sort of classical solo. There were lots of classical features in his solo, and it had really appealed to the audience there. And the drummer, Gene Krupa, who's a really famous jazz drummer. If you don't know him, look him up, he's nuts. His drumming as well was, the audience really took to it, they loved it. So after the concert, when people they wanted to hear more, they wanted to hear more jazz, more Benny Goodman, and so jazz music, swing music started getting played on the radio. There were big concerts, Benny Goodman played at big venues. Other jazz people like Duke Ellington, that sort of people, they played at big venues in New York City. The jazz clubs, it wasn't, no longer was sort of the lower classes were going along to these jazz clubs. The jazz clubs were cool, jazz was really cool. It was the place, all your sort of the celebrities of the day were all going to these jazz clubs like the Cotton Club. It was massive, and jazz had gone, within a couple of months, it had gone from being a little genre that a few people knew about, you might have heard on the radio maybe once or twice, to this massive colossus of a genre. It had sub-genres going off here, there and everywhere. and it was getting played on the radio. It was the biggest thing that's happened, possibly even to popular music. Only the Beatles really have come close in the impact they've made on popular culture and popular music. I'd say only the Beatles have come close, maybe topped what Benny Goodman did back in 1937. So there you go, that is my summation, if you want, of Sing Sing Sing, and why I think it's a massive track in the history of jazz, the most important, you could say. Anyway, if you don't agree with me, tell me. Stick it in the comments, you can send me messages, whatever, for a little debate about it. Do a few more videos about other tracks that you think are more important. But even if you don't think it's important, just listen to it. It's an amazing track. Find it somewhere else on YouTube. I've been talking over it, so you can't really judge it with me talking over it. But find it on YouTube. It's a brilliant, brilliant track, even if you don't think it's important. Anyway, thank you very much for watching the video. Please like it, comment on it, tell your friends about it, tell your parents, tell your cat, I don't know. But yeah, thank you very much for watching, and there may be more videos to follow. Bye!